What is cool? People, places, brands, the whole gamut. That's because a recent survey shows what young people living in England think is cool, and you might be surprised. Marcel Nobile is chairman of Superbrands. He joins me to discuss the cool survey. What's cool? I mean, why do we care about what's cool? Surely we care about brands that are recognisable, that make bucks.
Yeah, but if we're wearing Diesel or drinking Asahi or driving a Beetle, it actually says something positive about us. We do care.
No, hang on, no. You're putting one and one together and coming up with half a dozen. It doesn't necessarily translate to profits.
Well, if you've got many brands fight for a cool credential and people want to buy into cool, Alexander McQueen, Ducati, Agent Provocateur, known as being cool, and people desire them and therefore spend a lot of bucks on them.
So what, out of this interesting cool brand leaders, this interesting book, what surprised you? I see, for example, I've got South Park from Comedy Central, Red Stripe, the beer, Opium, the Manumission. Why do they attract?
I think what they all have in common is a fusion of vision, creativity and originality. And people actually buy into that.
When an outfit called Superbrands announced the coolest brands in Britain, car manufacturers didn't figure very highly. In fact, the top 5 consisted of the Tate Gallery, saucy underwear designers, Agent Provocateur, trendy hi-fi makers, Bang & Olufsen, and fashion guru, Alexander McQueen. But can you guess who is at number 1? Let me give you a clue.
And Topshop is one of them. Who'd have thought that it would be giving the luxury brands a run for their money with the clothes it copies from the catwalk? From its clothing designs to the layout of its stores, Topshop is attracting more and more customers as one of the coolest brands in the UK.
You know, they really focus on individuality, and each store is a different persona, really. Well, what's actually happening at the moment within the British fashion industry is that the innovation is actually being led on the high street with brands like Topshop actually pushing the boundaries and creating real new designs.
Air cushioned soles have given way to the low-tech retro look.
The public have been sick of being imposed with gimmicks like pump this and push that, and therefore they've gone back to basics. And the likes of Adidas, who are dedicated to performance, and also Converse All-Stars, who are back to basics, are actually appealing to individuals and are becoming fashion icons again.
Oh, they're very cautious indeed, and Pepsi, Evian, Eurostar have done brilliantly by capitalising upon Britney and so forth, but mistakes can be made. Brut used Paul Gascoigne. Paul Gascoigne said he never wore aftershave and it was for Nancy's. That didn't do them any good whatsoever. They've just got such a spectrum of items on offer, anything from, well, mobile phones to something like toffees. And even to televisions. And they've got to develop a brand which has a proposition which is motivating and appealing and is relevant to that whole spectrum of items. Microsoft are known to be dynamic, are known to be different. Their whole ethos for this Xbox is to inspire and feed the imagination, and they will capture the imagination of the market, and therefore I am confident will succeed.
Well, they certainly seem to be running riot in London. Marcel Noble, thanks very much.
The thing with celebrity and sports endorsements is that you can't just pick a sports celebrity and put him in your advert and assume that you're going to achieve success. You know, there are always dangers there.
Some of the most expensive campaigns can go horribly wrong.
And it will be Robbie Keane to take.
7up would have loved it if Roy rather than Robbie Keane had scored this goal against Spain in the second round of the World Cup. The company had based this summer's Irish marketing campaign around the volatile star, but when Keane was sent home just days before the World Cup, the ads lost their fizz. Angry fans vandalised the posters, so 7up pulled them down.
With sports endorsement, you know, the very simplest thing can go wrong.
Being the England coach is a bit like being a mum.
Glenn Hoddle was used by Shredded Wheat because he was seen as the ultimate family man, and that's the way that he was portrayed in the advert. But of course, at the time that the adverts were breaking, he actually left his wife.
Looks like it's the most popular decision I've made all season.
And now on BBC Two, today's Working Lunch. Coca-Cola won the title of Superbrand last night, and Virgin knocked British Airways off the perch in the holidays and travel category. Marcel Noble from the Superbrands Council is here. When it's a brand, Marcel, when does it become a superbrand? When you say so?
Well, no, not just me. There's a Superbrands Council, which is made up of eminent personalities within the industry.
So what characteristics does a superbrand have?
Well,
it's very well known.
A superbrand offers customers significant emotional and or physical benefits over its competitors, which consciously or subconsciously consumers want, recognise and are willing to pay a premium for. The Andrex puppy for over 25 years has come to represent softness and strength in such a strong fashion. Budweiser's about authenticity and dynamism. So for years, Budweiser have known how to communicate that. They were actually the first company to deliver Budweiser to the White House when Prohibition was revoked. Very clever.
And all these brands, I mean, they stood the test of time, haven't they, the main ones?
They certainly
all these
have.
Ones here behind us.
Yeah, Heinz is over 100 years old. PG Tips, also extremely old. And those chimps have been around since commercial TV was introduced.
Okay, if any of these brands, BMW was sending me some free samples, I'm more than happy to accept them. Never mind the morality of it, Marcel.
Harry Potter has been helping sell chocolate now, clothes, etc., etc. And just like the name Pepsi sells cola, Coke sells cola, Lucasade sells an energy drink, people want to be associated with that. It has such positive connotations that people definitely are attracted by it and will reach out to take that off the shelf as opposed to something else.
A glittering party in London with the beautiful people of the advertising world out in force. Here, not to do lunch, but dinner, coupled with the now ubiquitous award ceremony. The occasion, the Superbrands event, perhaps designed to celebrate the ad man's very existence, but primarily a recognition of the power of the globally branded product, the Michelin, Dulux and Andrexes of this world.
There is a flight to quality to established names, names that are historical, names such as Scottish Widows, Abbey National, Legal & General, names that have been around for many years and which you know will go around for many years to come.
In the fast-changing business world, with its unavoidably global perspective, the brand name is an important asset, which companies ignore at their peril.
What we're finding is the world is becoming smaller and smaller. Boundaries are literally disintegrating between regions. And that's due to travel and the internet and so forth. And therefore, it's no use having different names for brands in different places. People want to be familiar with a single brand. Whether it be Virgin, Orange, Microsoft, Yellow Pages, you know what they stand for. And if the political parties were much better at actually defining clearly what they stand for and not confusing us, the voter, they would stand a much better chance of actually getting the vote.
The tie-up gives JJB Sports a slice of the discount action, while keeping both brands separate.
TJ Hughes brand could actually confuse the JJB brand if it weren't kept independent.
And Justin Rose is enjoying a relationship with Adidas now, and that was probably down to a past performance. He's doing okay now, and Adidas will be enjoying that, and they've also got the association with Garcia, which is a tremendous asset as well. And the likes of a Lexus, for example, the car, has again enjoyed phenomenal benefits through their association with Montgomery, as you mentioned. For 3 years, they've managed to attract new customers just because of that relationship. Well, I think he lends tremendous positive associations to the Nike brand. You associate it with winning, you associate it with a very positive attitude, and that's why we might go to a Shell forecourt as opposed to another, because they're associated with Ferrari. Sega enjoy Lara Croft. L'Oreal enjoy the likes of the top models, and again, we like to be associated with that beauty.
We're here to witness the launch of the new Superbrands book. This book features names that we'll all recognise, from banks, from car manufacturers, from building societies, and yes, just the one football club. It's Manchester United. On display here are all sorts of products, most showing the latest technologies. How about this for an executive model? Long, sleek and sexy. Or how about this little sporty number? Just right for doing the shopping, if you're Pierce Brosnan. But there's not just car manufacturers. How about the latest in mobile phone technology?